I'm not loving Beyond.
No, I've had worse.
Well, in that case.
Well, what are we waiting for?
What's going on, everybody? Applersky back with another new video. And this one I kind of took my time to bring out. I know I said if you're a subscriber that I kind of posted I was going to have a breakdown the day that the gameplay trailer came out, but I figured I'd let it cook a little bit, because usually when these things happen, when we see first, glimpses of a brand new game, over the next few days we'll learn some more like additional information, and we did. So here we are. I'm gonna kind of just, this is unscripted, you know me, unscripted, just kind of gonna ramble on about what I feel about this game that's turning out to be one of my most anticipated games of all time. And I'm not joking when I say that. I'm a huge Bond fan, and when they announced this years ago that they were going to be working on this, I just thought, wow, like, what a match made in heaven. But I was concerned, right? Now, most of my concerns, if not all, actually have been alleviated, and as well as they've kind of went above and beyond what I thought possible, in a way, if that makes sense. And I'll kind of explain more as we get further along. So the gameplay demo starts out slow, driving this Jaguar here. James is a chauffeur for, this is like his first major mission, and man, what a mission it turns out to be. But kind of a slow burn here. I would actually have liked to seen this kind of sped up, maybe if they were driving like the speed limit. I don't know, maybe it looks like they're kind of driving a little too slow there, but either way, gorgeous visuals. I think that was the main point. They wanted you to just kind of see like how it looks and everything, and it looks fantastic. And from what they were saying, this is running on a base PS5, and you can tell towards the end, and we'll go over that when we get there. But yeah, quickly moving on. James he's told to wait outside, and he's seen some suspicious activity of this bellhop here, so he goes what James does, and he goes off on his own and tries to figure out what's going on, regardless of his orders. So from here we get like our proper first glimpse of the gameplay coming up here, and man, I was blown away by just the way, how much it looks like Hitman, but also how much improved it is, from the way his hair's moving while he's walking, to just the different animations that the characters are making, and the overall assortment of NPCs as well. Right there, he's talking to a guard, and I love that. I wasn't actually expecting that, having like multiple things that you can say to people. So I'd like to see that explored more. Want to see some more footage on that. But here we are, kind of like the most Hitman-ish thing out of the whole video, I would say. Distracting the guard to get in here, turning that water on, and then sneaking through the bushes. I mean, that's like straight up Hitman. And but what's not straight up Hitman is that little quick move. I love that little nice little detail going between bushes there. But using his gadget here, the phone dart, to kind of disrupt this enemy. I don't know if it poisons him or it distracts him. Basically, he starts feeling weird and he's not paying attention. So ample opportunity for James. I love the way he comes out of the bushes right there, kind of messing with his cufflinks. Like, James is always trying to look prim and proper, so that really hit the nail on the head there. And to be honest, throughout the whole thing, they really nabbed the feel of 007. And I'm a huge fan. I've seen every movie, grew up on the franchise, and whether or not, like, whatever era of Bond you like take as an example, this kind of hits on all of them in a way. It's got the more modern Craig-esque style with like some of the camera work and stuff, I would say, but it definitely has like nods to some of the older films as well, this being an origin story. Not sure if we're going to see any like villains from previous films or anything. I know the target here is 009, which he had a kind of a brief appearance in the film Octopussy way back in the day. So I'm wondering if it's that version or if it's kind of a different take. Either way, looking forward to it. But look at these gorgeous interiors, man. And if you look closely at every NPC, the way they look at them and stuff, like I was trying to find like reused NPC models, and it was hard to see any, really, like even with so many people on screen at one time. And the music, like, my god, the music is fantastic. I could do a whole video on the music, and as we get closer to launch I probably will, considering, you know, I love the James Bond soundtrack, and they really hit it nail on the head. I can't wait to see what they have for like the opening, you know, Bond's credit scene. I really hope that they do that well, and I expect that they will. So here we get to see like kind of a glimpse of like how many different opportunities there are in this one level. And from what I've heard from the developer interviews, they say about like 5, 6, 7 different ways that you can kind of infiltrate different each mission, not just this one, but like each one they want to give multiple ways to kind of, you know, get through that. Now, more on that in a minute. Moving on, we have a one thing that I was actually really probably most concerned about was the driving, if they were going to be able to get that right, because they don't really have a pedigree in driving in their previous titles, even outside of Hitman. I mean, I was playing Kane and Lynch randomly the other day. Matter of fact, the day before this this gameplay launched, and I was thinking, oh yeah, like they've already kind of done like a cinematic, you know, action style linear game in Kane and Lynch 1 and 2, and yeah, those weren't the greatest games, but they're kind of special in their own right. If you haven't heard of those, you might want to go out and check those out. They're kind of hard to get, but either way, moving on. What happened was, I figured out that I read up on some interviews with the developers, and they brought in talent that were specifically for like from racing games, like people that worked on racing games and had a deep knowledge of cars. So it definitely shows here, and I couldn't be more excited to see how it, because it just looks like it feels good to drive the cars, right? So moving on into the biggest, craziest, I would say, thing that I really wasn't expecting is how action-packed this this next scene is. And I had to wonder if there's any other way that we could get through this part of the game, like more stealthily, like in the beginning. Because if you notice, when he jumps down into the pipe, he kind of tries to stop the guy from shooting, and it opens up a little thing and pops up that says "License to Kill initiated." And I'm wondering if we're locked into this, or if there's any other way that we can kind of, I know probably not for the whole thing because the plane thing is set up, right? But just makes me wonder if there's any other like way we could kind of like tackle this first shootout a little bit more quiet. But anyway, back to what we're watching here. The explosions, the destruction of the environment is crazy, like almost kind of too crazy, I would say. I really hope, like, as cool as this is, especially for like an opening scene, it reminds me of an opening scene of a Bond movie before we get that opening credits with the song and you know, the trademark James Bond openings. That's what this reminds me of. So, and it probably is that, actually. But anyway, I love all the animations, how he picks up the guns with his feet, this is awesome right here. I really love that. Really cool, and so many different animations too. I would say the gunplay looks quick, snappy, weighty, responsive. I will say one negative that I took away from like the weapons here in this section is the shotgun. Some of the gun models look kind of awkward, especially the shotgun. The shotgun looks very like big, like almost too big. I would like for that to be toned down or maybe change a little bit. I mean, we're nitpicking here, but like it just looks odd. Also, when he kind of holsters this, that's awesome right there. I don't know if I've ever seen that, where he kind of, instead of just exploding barrels, he shoots those barrels and it creates like a gasoline flame trail. That was crazy. I don't think I've ever seen that. But like right here, when he's got the pistol in hand and the other gun, you know, around his, slung around his side. There's no actual like strap slung around his back, and I know that's a small nitpick, but just for added immersion, if they could, IO, if you're listening, probably not, but if they could add that. Uncharted 4 had it. This is very reminiscent of Uncharted 4, so I think that would just kind of add a lot more than you might think, just kind of like that realism. But here, I mean, this is something straight out of Uncharted, but if you've seen all the Bond films, this actually had reminded me a lot of Moonraker. There's a similar sequence in the movie Moonraker, which is one of the older films. So if you haven't seen that one, check it out and you'll see what I'm talking about. But right here, it's kind of just flexing, like the wind blowing the clothing and his hair. He's tossing guys off the plane. Very, very James Bond thing to do. I love this part too, how it kind of goes seamlessly into this small little cut scene here, where he kicks a guy, jumps in the plane. All of a sudden, kind of a little bit less tense. He's kind of in the plane, they don't know he's in there. And this is where, obviously, the elephant in the room comes into play. As he's sneaking in through the plane here, once he takes control with the watch gadget, the frame rate just goes haywire. And I don't even know where I seen it, but I seen a video doing a performance review of this. Like, I don't know why you do a performance review of a game that's just like a YouTube video, but it was dropping down to like 15, 16 frames a second. But in that video, it's not very credible anyways. They said that it was confirmed that the base PS5 version of this game will be locked at 30 FPS, and I can guarantee you right now that's not the case. There's no way. Like, yeah, maybe on fidelity mode, but there's no way they're going to launch this game capped at 30 FPS on PS5. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, I'll eat my words if that's the case, but I'm like 100%, 110% sure that's not going to be the case. Either way, we can tell that there's some polishing to be done. I mean, it gets really bad right here. It's so bad to the point where whoever's controlling the character kind of, you could tell that it was kind of bothering them. Like, they kind of clipped through this thing here. See what I mean? That part right there, you can tell that but at the same time, like, the confidence of them to show it running in that state is super high. And in an era where every game, it seems to come out like has performance issues at launch, I'm glad that they showing this with, I don't know, however 7-8 months of polish. I would assume that they're almost basically completely done with the game and they're just polishing it at this point with that firm release date with the collector's edition. You don't usually do that if you're going to delay a game. So I'm excited. Now, this part here, when they were doing the deep dive, like the different things you could do, this actually was one of the highlights of the entire gameplay for me. I just thought it was so cool because I was thinking at the time, when they show like how you can do it like stealthier, I was thinking in my mind how he like locks the guy. We'll see it right now. How he like takes this guy out silently, and then he uses his gadget to lure the guy into that room. Takes this guy out, and then I was thinking like, oh, that'd be cool if he goes up and like closes the door behind him, but then he could just open it. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, okay, cool idea. But then he pulls what I was thinking he would do, sabotages by breaking the handle, leaves him locked in that room. Very, very cool, very small thing, but that lets me wonder like how many more of those like little tiny things can we do, different types of things like that. And what the developers are talking about are saying that there's quite a bit, and like you can bluff your way through different things, and I really want to see like how well that can be utilized. Like, he tries to bluff here, but to get the jump on this guy, but because there's other guys around him, it automatically starts a fight. So I'd like to see like how it works where it's just like one guard, But yeah, these are the things that kind of blew me away that I said earlier, like kind of exceeded my expectations. I really wasn't expecting like fisticuffs like this choreographed and good-looking animations all the way across the board, slamming guys into things using, makeshift weapons on the fly, like the pool ball right there. It's just really, really cool, man. And I can't wait. I love the fact that they've went above and beyond, and were given in an interview, they said they were given complete creative control, basically, over the entire franchise, and they chose the brands they wanted to use, and the brands were on board because they believe in the project and just the passion behind it. At first it was frustrating. They announced it so early, but finally it's paid off, and we get to see it. And I think, to be quite honest, this could be like, and I know that we have Grand Theft Auto 6 next year, right? I get that, but this, if everything shapes up and they polish the little things that that I found, not to my liking or whatever, I believe that this could be a Game of the Year contender. I really, really do. And another thing that I wanted to mention that was kind of off to me is some of the voice work throughout, especially in the car chase. It seemed a little disjointed. Not that it was bad dialogue or writing, but the way that they were speaking to each other, they didn't seem like they were in a high-speed chase. Like, it seemed like a more casual conversation. So if they can balance that out and kind of maybe go back in and re-record some of those lines to make them feel more natural in situations like that, I think they're really onto something. And to be honest, those little things are really the only things I notice, and I know it's only a small sample size of what we get to see, but I'm looking forward to the next time we see it, and I feel like it's going to be pretty soon, and hopefully it'll be a more fleshed out kind of sandbox walkthrough that they'll do to show the different full-on, a full mission of taking different opportunities like that in a different setup, a different mission completely. That'd be really, really cool. So either way, finally, just wanted to get my 2 cents out on everything we know about 007 First Light, shaping up to look great, and one of the most ambitious titles, I would say, that has ever been done. If they can marriage that Hitman sandbox, choose your own way about going and completing objectives with those high-octane action set pieces that everyone knows and loves from games like Naughty Dog, Uncharted specifically, then we're really, really, really in for something special. And I truly cannot wait. March cannot get here fast enough. But that's all for me. If you're new and you like what I'm doing here, consider subscribing. And to everybody else that's been with me, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Applersky out.
Spy Fantasy come to life.